All right, guys, so thank you for coming to senior year prep. I know some of you guys missed the session from last week. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do a little small recording of what you missed, but actually some of the things that you missed last time are little bits and pieces that are gonna be woven into every session that we do, and or we'll talk about a little bit of it today, okay? So there's a sign-in sheet that's going around, so please make sure you don't forget to sign in, okay? Thank you for coming to senior year prep. Why am I thanking you? Because I sent this email out to 400 and some odd 500 seniors, and out of the 500 seniors, only about 50 of you signed up. 50. So what is that, 10%? 8%, 9%, something like that, right? So you are the chosen few, all right? You are the few that chose to come here and get this information. And it's really important for you guys to get this information now to reduce the amount of stress that you're gonna have and confusion that you're gonna have senior year. I'm not gonna promise that you're not gonna have stress, because you will. That's just a part of life, right? But I want to make sure that you guys have as much information as you can so that you can ask any questions and get your applications and stuff, your application questions answered, okay? These are our meeting dates, okay, for the rest of the session. And I'm gonna send you this recording because y'all are giving me some warm vibes to make sure this recording goes well, all right? These are all the meeting dates. They're all Thursdays with the exception of February the 24th. That is a Friday, okay? And the meetings will always be in this room. So you signed up for the group that you're in, but second period in the future, you may have a test or you may be on a field trip in the morning or whatever the case may be. Second period doesn't work out for you. You can simply come another period. You don't need to email me and ask permission. You don't have to let me know you're not gonna be here. Just get an e-hall pass from your teacher and come and make sure that you're signed in. Because to be honest, on the day of the event, I can't really check my email until 11 o'clock because I'm in here doing stuff back to back. All right, so just come whenever you want, okay? So the times are there. So first period is 7:55, second period is 9:25, and fourth period is 1 o'clock. And I'm gonna do the same lesson each period. Okay, so just come whenever you can. And as usual, like today, I'll send you a calendar invite and an e-hall pass. Now, if you didn't get an e-hall pass in the morning, because I always email you in the morning, I am checking the email first thing in the morning, so just let me know and I'll put one through for you. Okay? These are the topics that we're going to cover in the 8 to 10 workshops that we're going to have. So if there's something that is missing from the screen, whenever you get a chance before you leave today, let me know, or just shoot me a quick email while you're sitting here and say, hey, Ms. Mitchell, can we talk about such and such? And I'll figure out how I can weave it in. Also, during the course of the semester, we're also gonna have guest speakers that are coming here for different things on dates that are not senior year prep dates. And so that'll be my way to kind of weave in some topics that we missed too, okay? Is college for you? College is not for everybody, and that's okay. So I know that most of us shove college down your throat. You better go to college. Why aren't you going to college? You should go to college. It's a choice, because some of the things that you guys want to do, you don't need a college degree to do that. Some of you may be going to a 2-year technical or trade school or community college. Some of you may go to a technical or trade school that you only need to go and get a 6-month certificate or a 1-year certificate. Some of you guys are going to get a 4-year degree. Some of you guys are going into the military or the National Guard. And some of you may decide that you want to work next year. There are a couple of seniors that told me they have really awesome grades. They're just stressed out from COVID and they want to take a year off. Usually I kind of talk against that, because technically, to be honest, if you take off a year, what's going to happen? Anytime you take a year off from doing something that you normally do, you're gonna forget, right? You're gonna get a job, making your little $20 an hour, thinking you're making some money, get your car, get you some insurance, get booed up with somebody, then that costs money, right? And then next thing you know, you have gotten yourself into some debt or some issues with money, and then you might not be able to go back to school because of the money, or you're just out of school mode and you just don't have the energy or the motivation to do it, right? But because of COVID, a lot of people are stressed, a lot of people are anxious, and a lot of people need a break. So in another session, we will talk about that option if you choose to take it. But some people go and get a 4-year degree, and after year 1 or semester 1, they say, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. But they're doing it either because somebody told them to do it, forced them to do it, didn't know, and you're just wasting time and wasting money, okay? So we're gonna have those types of conversations to see which direction you need to go in, okay? And lastly, you guys are here because we are committed to you. Every school or most schools don't have this program. This is something that I started about 3 years ago. So number one, the reason why we have this program is because the majority of you at this school are first-generation college students. A number of you are what they call low-income students because of our demographics that we have here. And so you might not have access to a lot of things that other schools may have, okay? So I want to make sure that you guys get the best. So you got 3 people from the Avengers here. I don't know where the rest of the Avengers, they're doing other stuff in here, but we're here to help you guys to make sure that all of your questions are answered and that you feel comfortable talking to us to ask us any question that you have, okay? We want to make sure that we keep you on task, keep you on target, so we're going to give you dates and deadlines to kind of stay ahead of some things. We're going to be your biggest hype man, right? So just think about the concerts that you go to, and that hype man that gets them. DJ Khaled is my favorite. I'm sorry. He's just so confident. You know, he's always talking a lot of trash, right? He can't sing, he can't rap, but he has money because he gets you excited about all types of things, all right? And then the last thing, we want to be your auntie, your mom, your coach, just to help you out, all right? All right. GPA. So if you didn't get a copy of your, is there anyone who didn't get a copy of their transcript? Everybody got it?
I have 3.
Okay, we need to print one for you? Okay.
There's 3 of them. Don't have it.
Okay. So just, if you didn't get your transcript, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure that you get one. Okay, or Miss Gallagher can take care of that too. All right?
I'm checking again just to make sure they're not lost in the file.
Okay. There might be some hyphenated names or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just check it again.
So for your transcripts, even if you can pull up your home access, your GPA is at least in your home access on your phone or on your computer. I want to run through these GPAs real quickly and then we'll get to our lesson, all right? 4.0 is an A average. So if you don't have any honors classes, any weighted classes, 4.0 is the highest you're going to get. And that is an A average, okay? If you have honors and AP classes, it's gonna boost your average up. If you have those A's and B's and some C's in there, it makes it a little bit higher, okay? So A equals 4.0, just as a general guideline for colleges. A 3.5 is a nice solid B plus average for colleges, depending on where you're applying to. So if you're trying to apply to some colleges that are what are considered highly selective colleges, meaning that their acceptance rate might be 40% or 35% or 20%. You want that GPA to go higher for the percentage number that it goes down, if that makes any sense. Okay, a 3.0 is the baseline GPA that you want to get into some of the selective colleges or somewhat selective colleges at 3.0. Okay, so for those of you who have a 2.8, 2.9, 3.1, 3.2, you want to do what you need to do for the rest of this semester to maintain that and bump it up to a 3.0, maintain that or get it a little bit higher. Because whatever grade point average you have when you come to school in September, that is the average that you will send out to the colleges. There's no such thing as boosting my grade point average or anything like that. Whatever you have in September is what goes. Now that doesn't mean that you can come to school and just live your best life and take, easy classes all day, right? Colleges are going to ask for that transcript, and your senior year roster will be on there. So you want to make sure that that's there. You want to make sure that you maintain some consistency with the classes that you currently have and have last year. So if you have honors, AP, all that kind of stuff, keep the level that you have or increase it a little bit, because they're going to be looking to make sure that you're maintaining some rigor on your schedule, okay? I don't know why I put 2.5 there. Probably just because once you start getting below a 2.5, you're not going to be able to get into some more of the selective places, okay? 2.3 and 2.0, for those of you who are playing Division I, Division II sports, the number used to be a 2.3 GPA that you needed. Because of COVID, it is now 2.0, but I'm pretty sure they're going to bump it back up to a 2.3 year after next. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk about all this stuff in detail a little bit later. I'm just going over it today because we're going to get you guys signed up for the SAT and they're going to ask you these questions. 2.0 is a C average, okay? It's also the bare minimum GPA that you can have to get into a four-year college. Most four-year colleges that are somewhat selective cut the GPA off at 2.3, but the last year or two, because of COVID, they noted, your grades weren't too great. Some would say trash, 9th grade and 10th grade. So they'll give you a little leeway, but they're gonna ask for report cards next year and things like that, okay? And then a 1.0 was a D average. Okay, 1 is the average. So if anybody, once you come into school next year and you have a 1.9 or below, we're going to highly recommend that you apply to Montgomery County Community College if 4 years your choice. There is nothing wrong with Montgomery County Community College, and I'm going to tell you why. The kid who was number 10 in the class last year went to Montgomery County Community College because that's what he chose. They do have an honors program there, so I'm sure he is going there for free. But people go to community colleges for different reasons. Some people are not ready to go to a four-year school. Some people want to be close to home. Some people, their grades are not too high, so there's different reasons. But what I'm saying is that once you go below a 2.0, you're taking away your choices. So if you're choosing to go to Montco, that's fantastic. But you want to be in a position that you can make some choices and that the choices aren't made for you. Got that? So does anybody have any questions? Because then we're going to start talking in a second. All right, cool. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit, or actually the rest of the time, about the SAT and the ACT. So these are the two tests or exams that colleges mainly look at to do your acceptance, okay? So if you look here, and I need to get an updated one for the next year, but it's pretty accurate. This is a comparison between the SAT and the ACT, okay? So colleges use it for admissions and merit-based scholarships. Does anybody know what a merit-based scholarship is? Take a guess. There's no bad answers in here. I'm not gonna embarrass anybody. Anybody know what a merit-based scholarship or want to guess? Based on what? Okay, give me some more detail. What's a merit? I'm sorry, let me be clear, because the merit-based scholarship has nothing to do with the SAT. What do you think? What does merit mean? What's the word merit mean? Can you pass? Because I didn't explain it correctly, so I'm sorry. It will be money, you'll get some money. But what does merit, the word merit mean? So you're going to get something based on merit. So it means that they're going to give you money based off of your grades, your extracurricular activities, your community service, so things that you have done are very positive things. And so they're going to give you some money towards that, okay? So a lot of colleges will use your scores to give you extra money, okay? The test structure of the SAT is reading, writing a language, and math. Your old cousins or other people who went to school a while ago will say that there's an essay test. They got rid of that 2 years ago, okay? The ACT, I believe, still has an essay that's optional. Got to check on that. But they're based off of English, math, reading, and science, okay? The SAT is 3 hours. The ACT is 2 hours and 55 minutes. The reading section has 5 passages, and the ACT has 4 reading passages. Now, somebody may tell you that the SAT is now a computer test. There's some people who are taking some computer tests across the country because they're doing some experimentation, right? But the computer test won't be available until either next spring or the spring after. So you guys won't be taking a computer test at all, okay? Any questions about this part so far? Cool. All right, science. No science on the SAT. So again, the SAT is the right column. I'm sorry, the left column, and the ACT is the right column. The math section of the SAT covers arithmetic, algebra 1 and algebra 2, geometry, trigonometry, and data analysis. The ACT covers the same thing. Okay, SAT has a calculator policy. Some math questions don't allow you to use a calculator, and the ACT, you can use the calculator on all the math questions, okay? How is it scored? The SAT, the max that you can get in each section is 800 for a total of 1,600. And the ACT, the highest score that you can get is a 36. So we're not going to talk about PSATs today because those of you who took the PSAT, I'm going to have you guys come down February either 13th or 14th, and we're going to go over your scores. But as we go into your portal today, your scores are saved in there. So just as a rule of thumb, if you get the national average for the SAT, it's like about 1,000, something like that, 900, something like that. But the average for Norristown is between the 800 and the 850. Okay, so when you get your PSAT, if you see that it's in the 800s and you pass out, want to get your tissues out, it's about the average, and it's a practice test. Okay, but if you can break 1,000 on the 2 sections, that's pretty solid. If you can get higher than that, a 1010, that you can use towards your Act 158 requirements, a 1010 on the SAT, and I think it's a 21 on the ACT, I believe, okay? As far as college is concerned, for those colleges that are not as selective, 1,000 is decent, but for the ones that are highly selective, for those of you who are applying to, like, you know, the Novas and all those other places, and Harvard, we did have somebody get into Harvard last year. We've had people get into Princeton. We have people to get into University of Penn just about every year. So we do have students that get into those Ivies and top tier colleges. So if that's your goal, you want to get up in the 14s, the 1500s, 1600s, okay, or 1600, but you want to get higher, okay? And then a good score on the ACT, if you're applying to those top tier colleges, it's about a 32 and above, okay? All right, so some test optional things that you need to keep in mind. Because some of you say, well, most of these colleges are test optional, so I don't need to take the test. You should take it, number 1, for Act 158, what we talked about. Secondly, some colleges don't require the test to get in, but if you want that merit scholarship that we talked about, they're going to want some test scores, okay? Do not take the test back to back, meaning the next 3 tests are March, May, and June. Don't take it in May and then take the second one in June. What do you think is going to happen if you take them back to back? I mean, nothing bad is going to happen, but yeah, you're going to get the same score. It might increase 10 points. And why do you think you're going to get the same score? Anybody? You haven't had time to really look at your results and try to see where you need to improve. So you have Khan Academy that's built into your information. in your College Board account, but you want to have some time to kind of go over that information. And if you take it in May and then you take it in June, your scores are literally going to come back like the week of or the week before the next test, okay? So don't take it back to back. Also, if you are currently taking Algebra 2 or Geometry, and that's the last math class that you need, don't take the March test. Take it in May, preferably in June, because you'll be at the end of the semester and you'll have all that under your belt, and then you can take the next test again in August, okay? Some other tips. How many of you guys are good test takers? Raise your hand. She said. So one, or you were scratching? Who are the test takers in here? So you? Okay, anybody else? All right. The bad test takers, raise your hand. And I'm gonna raise both of mine. And I'm gonna lift my leg this high because I'm too old and I don't wanna pull anything. Okay, this could be my third arm if I could have a third arm. Most of us get test anxiety, right? So what happens when you take a test? What's your feelings? Anxious? They're anxious and nervous?
Same thing.
Same thing? Okay, you lose your memory? That's me. Huh? Overthink your answers? That's me too. Forget everything? Anybody else? Or is it the same stuff? So for me, go ahead. You what? Glance over important information? Yep. For me, I'll read the passage, get to the end, and be like, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was reading. So I gotta read it again, so I'm burning up time. Then I sit there and read it. Then I pick the correct answer, and then I overanalyze my answer, pick something else, right? So that's my whole thing. So and now that you know that this test is test optional for most of the colleges, and I will eventually give you guys a list of test optional colleges, you can take the test with no pressure and no stress. You are not the number of the test that you're taking, okay? We talked about completing Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and Geometry for the March test. Do not send your scores right away. So today we're gonna get started on your profile for the SAT today, right? But when you take the test, when you go in person to take the test, they're going to give you an opportunity to select some schools that you want to send your score to. You're going to leave that blank, okay? Wait until you get your scores back. On another session, I'll teach you guys how to read your scores, right? But you want to look at them to see what they are, see if they're good enough to send. You'll get the information that I taught you, or you can talk to any of us and we can tell you how to find the right score. Now, some of your friends at other schools, let me go backwards. You guys are going to get fee waivers to take the test. You're going to get 2 waivers for the SAT because we are part of the free lunch program, and that is a box on the waiver card. Okay, the test costs, how much does it cost now? $60, $80? Something crazy. You get 4 waivers for the ACT, okay? So with those waivers, you can take as much time as you want to send your scores. You can send them to as many places as you want to. Your friends at other schools that don't have this opportunity to have to actually pay for their tests, they only have 4 weeks to send their scores. So if you happen to talk to one of your friends at another school, that's why they're telling you to hurry up and send the stuff, but you guys have time, okay? Because we want to be selective about where we send stuff. Also, you want to use the name on your ID or your government name when you fill out the application. Don't be putting Ray and Jay and all that stuff. Government names that are on your school ID, because when you go to the table, you got to give them your ID, okay? And then I want you to put this in your phone notes, wherever you put stuff. If you have any questions, concerns, and you're doing this and you're not in school, this is the number to College Board. They will not bite you. They will not yell at you. They're very nice and friendly. When you call them, they say, hi, my name is so-and-so. How can I help you? And you just say hello and you tell them your name. Any issue that you have, they'll fix it for you. You got it? All right. Any questions before we get started? Okay. I'm gonna have you guys, when we have our session, I'll talk to you about it. Okay. It is not that I wanna answer, but I'm behind the phone, so that's okay. All right, so you guys have 3 opportunities for test prep, okay? One of the options is you can do the Khan Academy that's connected to your College Board account. It is free, but it's virtual, it's self-directed, but there are a lot of people who do it and take it seriously, and they do well. I'm not focused enough to do that. I have the attention span of a flea, okay? So that's not good for me, but for some people it works. You can also get a private tutor. It's gonna cost you a lot of money, but I'm not in your pocketbook, so I don't know, or your pockets, I don't know what you have. So I can give you some resources if that's you. But can we say free 99? Say free 99. Free 99? Come on, y'all. Free 99? What's up with this side over here? Free 99. For free 99. You can get free test prep through Gear Up. Ms. Chu, did you want to talk about that for a bit?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not prepared to talk about this at all.
Okay, we can wait till.
No, it's okay. I did already take the link down, so you can't sign up anymore, but if you do want to do test prep with Gear Up, we are doing, SAT prep on Mondays and Thursdays. We do have a few students in here already that are doing it. We started this past Monday. Mondays are math, that will be Monday. And then Thursdays are English. I don't know what else Ms. Gallagher was saying about it, but I mean, it's free practice. So there are some students, like at other schools, some students have people pay, like have parents, guardians pay for this practice, so why not take advantage of it at school and participate in it here. There is an activity bus, so you will have a way home. It will lead up to the March 11th SAT. And I don't remember what else Ms. Gallagher said about it. I think that's Mr. Eisen is doing the English one, and then one of our Gear Up tutors, Mr. Moore, is doing our math one. Okay. So, yeah.
So if y'all got any questions, you got to get in contact with Gear Up ASAP because they've already started.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, I was not prepared to talk.
That's all right. All right, real quick, because I got behind because we were having a good time. I'm gonna skip to the other slides because I'm recording this. I want to turn the recording off so it's not a whole bunch of dead time in here. I just gave you guys a piece of paper that is old. They're going to throw it away. But scheduling starts next week, okay? So most of those classes that are on there are classes that we've offered before. They're not your major courses like math, English, science, history, if they're like the core courses, but if they're electives, they're on there. Your teachers, you're gonna do it on the computer like you did last year, and your teachers are gonna enter your core courses, you're gonna put in your electives. You wanna really start thinking about what you're gonna take for next year, okay? Especially if you are a student that's thinking about doing early graduation, meaning that you're gonna come for the first semester and you're going to finish. I try to talk you into staying only because college admissions has gotten so much more aggressive and just competitive. And so colleges will be looking at your senior roster. If you choose to do halfway, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get into school. We had 2 young men last year that had very good grades, did the half-year thing, but they did some special stuff the second semester. One of them had an internship where he was working, doing something in business or marketing, which is his major. The other one wants to be a pilot, and he's been flying and stuff for years, and so he was doing flight school the second semester. All right. So for the rest of you, I would suggest you do the half-day thing if you just want to take some kind of opportunity. If you're going to do the half thing, you want to have a conversation with me so we can kind of go through some pros and cons. But you want to make sure that next year you pick some really, rigorous courses. And of course, you want to put 1 or 2 in there just so you can kind of take a break. Luckily, you have the block schedule, so you don't have to take 8. You want to make sure you take a 4th math, even if you don't like math, if you're planning on going to a 4-year school. Okay? So we can talk about that in a little bit more detail. If you want to make an appointment with me, you can email me right now. Tell me when the best period to meet with you is, and I'll give you an appointment sometime next week. Okay? All right.
You can also meet with us if they want to just go over. We can't do the scheduling part, but we can go over like what they have, what requirements they still need. We just can't do the scheduling part. So they can't come up to Gira for any of that.
Yep. So you can meet with your counselor. They're going to be kind of busy. You can email me. I can help you too. Okay. I used to be a school counselor too. I'm sorry. I'm always a school counselor in my heart.
Me too.
In my heart. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Does financial literacy count as a math class?
No. Yeah, that's a elective for math 3. All right.
I have a question. They took algebra 1A and 1B.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I know there were some that took algebra. I don't know if any of you guys took that, but algebra 1A and 1B. How does that look?
So if you took algebra 1A and 1B, they count as 2 credits of math. And the next 2, if you take algebra 2 and geometry, that does satisfy your requirements with us. But if you are applying to a 4-year college, especially if it's selective or highly selective, that 1A and 1B, they're going to count that as 1 unit. Because they want algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, and then an additional senior math class. Because one of our students did have an issue with that this year, and we had to change her schedule for 2nd semester to put an extra math class in there. Okay? All right. So what I want you guys to do now, because we got 12 minutes, is to go into your collegeboard.org. Go to collegeboard.org. We're going to get you started on your profile for the SAT if you have not started it. I was hoping to finish it, but with some other information that was really important that we need to do. Okay? Some of you who took the PSAT in 10th grade, you may have already opened up a profile and you've already filled it out. Okay? Who took the PSAT in October? Okay, so most of you did. All right. So when you go in and start doing your profile and actually begin to select a date for a test, your waiver should be saved in your account. So don't ask us for a fee waiver. When you start going in there filling it out, it's going to tell you that the test costs, however much it costs, $60, $70, I can't remember. Just keep going till you get to the very last screen when they say it's time to pay, and it should bottom out to 0. If it doesn't bottom out to 0 by that time, then send one of us an email and we'll send you a fee waiver code. If you did not take the PSAT, email me, okay, and ask for a fee waiver and just put in the email, I did not take the PSAT this year, and I'll send you a code, okay? All right. So you go to collegeboard.org. Also, these are the dates and deadlines. So the next 3 tests, March 11th, May 6th, and June the 3rd. So remember, if you are currently taking Algebra 2 or Geometry, do not take the March test. I would highly recommend you take it in June, just so you can get some more math under your belt. If you're currently taking pre-calculus and you want to increase your score, you might also want to wait until May or June, but you can take it in March if you like. Okay? So even though the deadline says it's February 10th, those that have a fee waiver, you can extend that. But if I were you, go ahead and do it because March is the most popular month and it's going to fill up quickly. Okay? Then you see the deadline for April and May. I'm sorry, May and June, but you can go ahead and sign up for those now. So if you're gonna take your first test in May or June, remember we said don't take it back to back. So then you can take your second test in August. So you won't be able to sign up for August just yet. They usually won't release those dates until like May or June. We highly recommend you don't take the test after October because then you're holding up your application. So try to get your second test done in August, but if that's not possible, then take your second test in October. And the third thing, check your calendar. Talk to your parent or guardian to make sure that your cousin that you don't like is having a wedding and you gotta go and it's on that day. Or you play baseball and you got a game that day, or you run track and you have a game that day. Because if you have to change the date, it's gonna cost you about $30, okay? All right.
And if you don't change the date, guys, that fee waiver goes away. If you register and don't no show, you use the fee waiver. Just keep that in mind.
All right, so go ahead and start opening up your profile. Make sure when they ask you for parent information, your parent name, email, don't give it to them because your parents do not want the email. Trust me. If you already put it in there, you already put it in there. Okay? Also,
Make sure my name's it's on my fee.
yeah, we talked about that. I added that already. Also, please make sure that they're gonna ask you like what your GPA is or like what percentile is. You can kind of guess. Nobody's gonna like fact check you. But once you get to the GPA question or your rank question, they're gonna ask you a whole bunch of random questions about what history class you took, what science class you took, what kind of extracurricular activities you took. It's gonna be about 5 pages of those types of questions. You can skip those. And you know you can skip things because it doesn't have a star by it. They look like they're really important questions to answer. But can I tell you a secret? They're just trying to figure out what kind of junk mail to send you. Now, if you like junk mail, then fill them all out. But y'all get enough junk mail, right? All right. So those are all the tips that we have for you. So if you got any questions, just let us know. We'll come around. Okay? And for the recording, we're going to stop. Thank you guys so much for coming to our session.